Hey guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head on over to my channel to check it out. Well guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support I received in last week's video about book talk and the rise of anti-intellectualism. A lot of you guys seem to really resonate and enjoy that video, and I am so glad that you guys liked what I had to say and are commenting down below, letting me know your opinions on the whole discussion of it. And while we're in the topic of more serious things on the internet and on book talk, obviously you've seen the title of today's video. And you might be thinking, why are we talking about this? And you might be thinking, oh no, is she about to get really political with the stuff going on in the country in the United States? If you are one of my United States followers, hi, hello. Who else is feeling really anxious out there? Yeah, just me? Anyone?
Hey, knock it off! There's a kid back there!
I'm in danger!
Yeah, so, obviously for the current climate and what's going on with our government right now, things are really scary. And what better way to cope with said anxieties and the feelings of what is going on, and the feelings of helplessness and the feelings of destructiveness and the feelings of corruption than to talk about books that have to do with revolution and fighting corrupt governments. That is what the books are about. And that is what the fantasy world, a large majority of the fantasy world is about, is making a better world, is creating a better world, and doing that through revolution, uprising, and overthrowing corruption in government and in politics. I'm here to say very quickly, and I know that most people on here are probably like, I don't need to hear your political views, or I don't need to hear how you feel about certain things. And I have just decided recently that I'm like, you know what? You can skip this if you don't want to listen to it and you just want to get into the book recommendations. But very briefly, I just would like to say that, like, this is a channel where we respect all types of people, no matter where they come from, no matter who they are, no matter what sexuality or like they identify with or anything like that. This is a safe space for anyone on my platform. And I stand with you. Those people and the things that are going on right now with our government and with ICE, I do not support that. And I just have decided that I want to make it known that I was... not that like that I was on the right side of history, and that I care about people. And honestly, at this point, it is not even, in my eyes, it is not even a political issue. It is an issue of humanity and morality and what is morally right and what is morally correct to do to people. And I don't agree with this level of violence against innocent people. Personally, I don't. So that is why I'm talking about this kind of topic today, because if fantasy books have taught us anything, or if books have taught us anything, it's that revolution and coming together and fighting the power is possible, and that it can be done. In the description down below today, I'm going to be linking some resources of how to help stop what is going on in this country right now. It's the 5 calls to your senator. It takes 3 minutes. I did it this week. It was a little bit intimidating, but I promise it is worth it. And trying to stop and be like economically conscious about what brands and things I'm supporting in my own life. And of course, like links to how resources that you can do to help those who are being afflicted by this horrible thing that is happening in Minneapolis and in other places in our country. So those things are going to be down below. I just wanted to give a brief sentiment to people out there, anyone who is scared and frightened and anxious. I know that a lot of people come to my channel to find escape from the horrors of day-to-day life and to avoid feeling the badness of what's going on around us and how anxious it's been. Trust me, I know I spent many a night over the past couple of weeks staying up until 2, 3 in the morning, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and seeing all the horrible things on TikTok and feeling sick to my stomach and feeling so angry because there's like nothing I can do. And I know that people come here for an escape and to like feel good and to like get into discussion about literature. And that's what we're here to do today. But I also just like, for those of you who are anxious, who are scared, please feel free to reach out to me. I am a source. I am a safe space. I'm someone you can reach out to and talk to if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling scared, if you're feeling just like, I don't know what to do with all of this like horrible bad feelings that I have. Books are a great way to expel some of that energy and to put that energy into something else, which is why I'm talking about this today. So before I get into that, let's quickly talk about what I just finished reading versus what I'm currently reading. Guys, this is where we get a little silly goofy with it all, because
oh my God, can you just be cool? Once, please. Just once. Can you just once be cool?
I'm actually utterly humiliated, because this is the level in which I have had to go to escape my own life to read something like this. And I said I was going to read it because I was like, listen, I've been in my monster romance era and I just wanted to read something silly, goofy monster romance. I can't believe this. So I may or may not have purchased Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. And if you're looking at this cover and you think you know what it's about, it's everything you think. It's everything that you think it is and also nothing that you think it is at the same time. I am utterly humiliated, but I'm also like, listen, sex with a minotaur is fun.
Right to jail. You're playing music too loud? Right to jail. Right away. You're driving too fast? Jail. Slow? Jail.
And insightful. And you learn a lot about the process of milking these giant creatures. And listen, for those of you who are wanting to have a huge amount of escapism in your life and for your mouth to be on the floor, I'm not kidding. When the first 15 pages of this book, my mouth is on the floor. I was literally just like,
That's better.
I was like, you're joking. That's what we're doing here? And of course, as the book goes on, it gets more normal and you're just kind of like, okay, it's more normal. But the fact that you can be desensitized to milking minotaurs is insane, by the way. So again, this book is very, it's cringe, but it's fun, it's silly, it's goofy. And if you are wanting a semblance of escapism and you just want to read about a sexy minotaur and a lovely young woman named Violet who happens to be milking him and then they fall in love, then by all means read this. I gave this 3 stars. I honestly was low key, good time. It was good time, not a long time. It's really short. It's a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's literally Morning Glory Milking Farm. It's pretty straightforward on what we're getting into in here. If you want to know the contents of what goes on in this book, I am not going to explain it to you. I'm just going to let you deduce what I'm talking about from what I've just been saying. So you can deduce on your own what's going on in here. But by all means, if you are into your monster, if you're in your monster era, I gave this 3 stars. I had a good time. It's freaking weird, but also it's kind of a little bit, okay? So don't judge me, but everyone go check out Morning Glory Milking Farm. And then, okay, for what I'm currently reading, so guys, like I said in last week's video or in the past couple of videos, I've been trying to finish the Windy City series by Liz Tomforty, who I am loving, but guess what? There is something calling to me. Clearly, I read Morning Glory Milking Farm, so clearly there's something calling to me in the fantasy sector, and I just want to read fantasy right now. So I'm going to take a pause on my sports romance for a hot minute, and I'm going to read some fantasy just because I have really been missing it. And so I decided to start reading King of Ravens by Claire Sager, and I am loving it so far. I'm 150 pages in and having a great time. This is very much a tried and true Hades and Persephone retelling. I feel like the author's doing a good job of letting us in on things, but not fully in some ways. And honestly, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. It's very cute and very fun, and I'll have to let you guys know my full review once I'm done. But I am reading King of Ravens. So that is what I just finished reading versus what I'm currently reading. Now, back to Revolution, Overthrowing the Government, Vive la France, okay? So, like I said, today's video is about books, fantasy books specifically, but about revolution, overthrowing corrupt governments, and just power to the people, okay? Power to the people, because we, the people, we stand, we live, okay? And again, kind of like I said earlier, with fantasy books, that is what the number one thing they teach you is that this kind of thing is possible. There is power in numbers. There is power in the people. And again, I think that any sane person who reads knows to stand with the downtrodden and the hurt and the afflicted and to stand with them, to lift them up and to know that you stand with them. All of these I think are phenomenal books. They're all fantastic and I feel like you will learn something from all of them. They all obviously have other meanings as well along with the revolution and overthrowing corrupt governments, but the underlying issue is power to the people and standing up for what is right and for your beliefs. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with kind of an oldie but a goodie. Not really oldie actually, but kind of just like one of the best and brightest in overthrowing the government. Let's start with a fan favorite, Miss Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This is House of Blood and Earth, the first book in the Crescent City trilogy. And this is obviously, the main premise of this book is about a young woman named Bryce. She is a half fae and she has a best friend named Danica. A tragedy befalls her best friend and she is dealing with the grief and loss of a close personal friend. And she meets essentially like a police task force, an archangel named Hunt Athalar. And Hunt and her have to work together on an investigation of to what happened to her friend all these years ago. So, I adore this book. Not only is this one of the most beautiful one of the most beautiful stories about friendship, loss, grief, and love, which it is. It is all of those things. This is also about a revolution amongst the people. There are people in power in this world who are corrupt, who are evil, who are not good and will do bad things to the people. At one point in this book, and not to spoil anything, there is an attack set specifically on the citizens of this city. And Bryce takes it upon herself to help them because she knows it's right and she knows it's good.
I'll save you, Miss Pete. My hero.
Throughout the rest of this series, we are seeing the mass destruction of said government by small individuals like Bryce, like Hunt, like other people that we meet along in this series. So yes, this series it's a romance. It is about grief. It is about loss. It's about love, but it is also about this small group of individuals knowing that there's something wrong, knowing that they need to correct it and they need to put good people in power and choosing to do that, even though the odds are completely stacked against them. I absolutely love Crescent City. I ride for Crescent City. I know people gets a lot of hate online because of the heavy exposition in the first 20, 30 pages of the book. I promise it gets better after that exposition. And you learn so much. This is an urban fantasy, so this is like Fae with cell phones kind of vibes, you know? And I love it. I think it's fantastic. This book makes me weep. It makes me cry. And the rest of the series I think is great. I think the first book is the strongest of all of them. But again, an underlying issue throughout this entire book is corrupt people in power and destroying them and taking them out by whatever means necessary. So I highly recommend you add Crescent City to your Revolution book list. The next book I want to recommend is an absolutely fabulous book about uprising revolution, but also about the destruction of culture and the taking away of that. And this is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. Blood Over Brighthaven is one of the most incredible fantasy reads about change and revolution in those ways. We have Siona, who is a young woman. She has spent the past 20 years of her life studying to become the first female high mage at her university in this steampunk industrial society. They live on the inside of this essentially a shield and a bubble, and on the outside is the wastelands. And essentially she is not only dealing with sexism in her field, and the other mages are trying to get her fired. They essentially are trying to do anything in their power to dissuade her and to get her out of the program. And they assign her a janitor as her lab partner. And little do they know, they assign her someone who is from an outside race named he's part of the Quay. His name is Thamil, and Thamil and his tribe are from the outside, and they actually journeyed into the city to quote unquote have a better life, kind of like American Dream vibes.
But there are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese.
Anyways, Thamil and Siona end up uncovering a huge magical secret amongst the high mages that could legitimately destroy the entire city as they know it.
What are you all afraid of? Papa told me. Everyone knows it. There are no cats.
This book, not only is it about sexism and prejudices against other types of people, it's also about the decimation of other cultures and racism. There's blatant racism going on in here. Not only is there sexism and the magic element, but there is blatant racism against the outsider types and the destruction of those cultures because they don't fit into the conglomerate of this society that has been created. This one is so fascinating because you watch our main female character, Siona, who has struggled and has fought to get her way even just this far, and yet she realizes that there are other walks of life and other people who have it way, way worse than her, and she had no idea. And there's a level of prejudice against that, and there's a level of prejudice against people that are different in this society. And there's a level of like, we have to expose these people who, we have to expose the people who have done wrong in the upper ranks. But it could legitimately destroy the entire city as we know it. Like, it could destroy everything as we know it. This book is powerful. It is magnetic. The magic system is absolutely fascinating. And you just get to watch some insane character development over the course of this book by a young woman who realizes her prejudices were completely wrong, and she has to completely rewire her thinking and her brain to overcome that. And it's really beautiful to see. Like, it's really beautiful to admit, like, for them to admit, like, I was wrong. I did wrong. I didn't realize I was wrong. And, like, it's really incredible. It's really powerful. It has some amazing characters, some amazing supporting characters as well in this. And I just think it is absolutely fantastic. This book is devastating. It is jaw-dropping, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is legitimately incredible, fantastic. Next, listen, You Know Her, You Love Her. It might be one of the most popular romantasy books currently to date, and it does happen to have some overthrowing of the government. We have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Now, we have a young Violet Sorrengail who is a cadet in the writers not in the writers quadrant. She's in the like healer, or in the like writers like writing quadrant, and essentially her mother on her like reaping day is like, hey, you're actually headed over to the writers quadrant to bond with a dragon and essentially join the army. And Violet is like, what? And she's like, no. And then she does, and like she basically has to survive Basgiath University and see if she can survive her first year as a cadet in this university. Now, not only is there a very steamy romance with like an upperclassman going on in here, very like Divergent vibes, we also have a corrupt government and an a war that is going on outside of the walls of Basgiath, and essentially like, what are these young cadets going to do to fight that war, and realizes that the corruption is actually coming from within their own university.
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. You hear me? It's coming from inside the house.
And this is a really fun fantasy book. The first book is a great place to set. It sets up the whole world really beautifully. And it sets up this great ring of power amongst the cadets with their dragons and like the higher ups. And as the book goes on, you realize how deep the corruption goes into this kingdom, and how it even rises to the ranks of like the king who is ruling it, and what is going on with the outside forces that they're fighting. This book is fantastic. I love it. I can't say the same. Iron Flame, I just don't think is as well written. I think this one is really fun, really fast paced, and really well written. The second one is not as good, and then Onyx Storm, it gets better. But again, like, to each his own. I really enjoy this as a fun romantasy. It's really great to me. And again, it has an underlying current of like overthrowing a corrupt government going on throughout this entire series. So I highly recommend you read Fourth Wing. Next, of course, I would be remiss if I did not talk about my favorite medieval fantasy book that is all about empire and taking over and the destruction of cultures. We have The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. If anyone understands empire and what it really means, it is Alex E. Harrow. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful romance, but on top of all of that, the even bigger issue going on, as I've stated several times with this book, what is worth empire? What is worth empire? Is empire worth having if it means that you are destroying and sowing seeds of division between people and destroying other cultures? Is empire worth it? So essentially we have somewhat would say like kind of a British government, but it's not because it's a fantasy world. We have an Owen Mallory who is a historian. He has been writing legends about the amazing medieval knight Una Everlasting, who united this kingdom that they currently live in. And Una Everlasting is this amazing legend. He's been writing about her his entire life. Well, fate happens, and essentially Owen is thrust back in time when he meets Una Everlasting. And these two are intertwined. They've been intertwined their entire lives. And these two are intertwined, and he's essentially there to make sure that she finishes her quest to unite this empire in the way that she knows how. But the minute that he meets the woman behind the mask, behind the legend, he doesn't want to let her go. And to watch the destruction of this kingdom happen and fall, and to like be reunited over and over and over again, uniting people over and over and over again, just to have this outcome, to have the outcome that he has now. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Like the death of this beautiful young woman who gave up everything to be here. Is it worth it? Is empire worth it? And I just think that's beautiful. And again, this is kind of based off of like British Empire and colonization in a way. Alex E. Harrow does an amazing job of like dissecting that and showing like the underbelly of what's really going on with this empire and like how messed up and corrupt it actually is and how morally wrong it feels like when you're watching this and when you're reading it. So this is one of the most romantic love stories of all time that I just absolutely adore. I adore a female main character who is a warrior and a leader, and also but underneath just a woman who is like just doing her best, and this sweet man who just adores her. But on top of all of that, it is about empire, and it's about like the losing culture and losing people along the way and sowing seeds of distrust amongst people. Is it worth it to have all of this in the end? And I just really, really appreciated this take on it. I think it's a fabulously well-written book, and it is extremely deep and poignant for today. And I think everyone needs to read it. And last but certainly not least, obviously we are going to talk about the pièce de résistance, the cherry on top to revolution and to uprising and to overthrowing governments. We are talking about The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games! And I'm including all of the Hunger Games. So like, obviously we're talking about the Hunger Games as a series, and of course the two prequels, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and of course Sunrise on the Reaping. This is obviously the culmination of Revolution. If anyone knows about Revolution, it is the Hunger Games. I'm obviously using Catching Fire as my placeholder here. Catching Fire, I think, is the strongest in the original trilogy, and I just absolutely love it. You really get to see the like inner workings of what's going on behind this capital and this government. I absolutely love The Hunger Games. And again, I read these books when I was like 13 years old. I read the original trilogy. And then now as an adult, I have now read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and The Sunrise on the Reaping. And I just have to say that the older that you get, the more that you realize what this book is really about. In the beginning, for me, it was about a young woman fighting for her life, falling in love.
Maybe Gail, maybe Peter, I have to choose right now, 'cause I'm 17.
And essentially being forced to do things that were abhorrent to her. As I've gotten older, I realized that it is about all of those things, yes, but it is also about people uprising, trying to overthrow a government and doing it in the only way that they know how, in the sneaky, sneaky underside of things. They are doing it in the only way that they can. And that is by trickery, by conning, by just sneaking their way through, sowing the seeds, trying to create dissent amongst these people. In the original trilogy, obviously Katniss is used as a pawn for these people. She's used as a player in this game to essentially like get what they want, which is to overthrow and revolt and overthrow the government and President Snow. When you read the prequel, you get a better picture for like, this is why he is the way that he is, and this is why the people are the way that they are. And it's just so gritty and raw. And then when you read Sunrise on the Reaping, which is an in-between, you really see that the people, like, they have nothing. They have nothing to lose. A lot of them have nothing to lose, and therefore they are willing to do anything to try to make this work.
Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us!
To make this revolution happen. But it didn't all click in place until we had Katniss, until we had a symbol for that. She showed kindness in a place where she should have shown her aggressive side and her destructive side. She showed empathy to people. She is a survivor, and she showed the people that they could survive and that they could win and they could overthrow and they could beat President Snow. They could defeat him and they could overthrow and stop his games. And I just think like it is so powerful. It is so poignant for today. And I think Suzanne Collins is brilliant, and she's only gotten better as a writer with the prequels. I think the prequels are masterpieces in writing, and the things that she has said about them are so true, that she is making a statement. She is trying to show this is the world that we live in. And if we don't start sowing the seeds and start building up our own armies to try to take down the government, then we will lose and we will end up like this. I think everyone should read The Hunger Games. I think everyone should read the prequels. If you've already read The Hunger Games, they are absolutely fantastic for all ages, for all types. It is absolutely amazing what Suzanne Collins has been able to do, and I highly recommend you read them. So that is all the book recommendations I have for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Lynn Literature YouTube channel. Guys, if you have any other incredible book recommendations on empire, on overthrowing governments, on corruption and power and revolution, please feel free to comment them down below. I know that there are actually hundreds of thousands of incredible books out there that I did not mention in today's videos. These are just the ones that I've read and the ones that I love. So please feel free to comment them down below to let other people know what books they should be reading right now. I just want to say yet again, just to reiterate, I love you guys so much, and I hope that you guys are all staying safe out there and protecting yourselves. Remember to check out the links in the description to help and call your senators and things like that to help those who are in need and who are in trouble, and do what you can, do what you can from the outside. I love you guys the most. Please be safe. Please hold your loved ones close and be kind to one another. I love you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.